Hello and welcome to the Rising Stars of Comedy. I'm Akriti Tyagi. Whenever someone says life is hard, I'm always tempted to ask, compared to what? Our guest for today has been described by Tom Rhodes as head-crushingly funny. Brian Collins says he's funny in 3 languages, English, Punjabi and the future. His daily observations, childhood stories and lightning-fast crowd work makes him a must-see for every audience. Please welcome, all the way from USA, Raj Sharma.
You're like, yay, now we judge. I'm not from here, as you can tell. I'm from the US. And people ask me all the time when I come to India what it's like being Indian and having grown up in the US. And I tell them it's the exact same. We do the exact same things. We say the exact same things. It's just done from 9,000 miles away. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, as Indians, we put words after words that don't belong there. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Like pani vani, gup shup, chai bhai. Right? Like nobody else talks like that. Nobody. Like I'll give you an example. If your doctor talked to you like that, like how much would you trust that guy? Right? Like if he walked in, he's like, okay, listen, man, we ran some test vests. Could be your liver viver or your spleen vein.
Please welcome Raj Sharma. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, Raj.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
So, tell us about the journey.
It started my first show ever, April 14th, 2002.
Okay.
At, I think it was 9:15 was my
I'm so glad you did not tell me about your journey from US to India right now. I'm so
it
proud
was,
of you for
it started in Newark yesterday. It was April 14th, 2012,
right.
2002.
Okay.
And before that, I had been such a fan of comedy and had loved it for so long. And I saw an Indian comic performing, and I didn't know we could do that. I didn't know that was in our scope because Indians are doctors or lawyers or engineers, especially overseas. Here, you see, Bollywood actors. You go, okay, well, that's a family of actors, so that's why that person's now an actor. In the U.S. or abroad in general, I think there's so much pressure for us to.
Especially when you come from a middle class family.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
It is, well, when you have parents that went from London to Texas of all places.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mother was a nurse. My dad was a CPA in London, but when he went to the U.S., the same certificates didn't work.
Okay.
So he just had odd jobs, and then started his own business, which became very successful.
All right.
But that's stuck in your head. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer. And I always loved making people laugh. I loved creating the story, creating the punchline. It was what I did in our neighborhood, in our little, as you call them, colonies here. Like that's what we did. Like when we would go outside and play.
Yeah.
At the end of the evening, it was just me telling jokes to kids.
Okay.
This started there, and then leap forward. I was dating this girl who took me to a comedy club.
Okay.
And there was an Indian guy on stage, a very funny comedian who was here last year named Paul Varghese.
Okay.
And it just, my mind was blown. I was like, I didn't know we could do this. So I had to talk to him. And he told me about a writing workshop that you could take at that same club.
All right.
And I did it. And April 14th, 2002, I think it was 9:15 was my time, 9:15 or 9:30. I walked out on stage, and I was supposed to do 5 minutes. That's what they taught you in the program. We're going to get you 5 minutes of material. And at the end of my set, with applause breaks and everything, it was 7 minutes and 54 seconds.
Wow.
And I knew, I was like, when I got off stage, and people were like, hey, there's this open mic here, and this is a show I run here. And I
so
knew
it was actually like a flood of offers all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I was an acting major before then. The thing is, like, it's somebody else's words when you're performing on stage in theater. So you don't have to worry about it. If the show fails, it wasn't my words. That was the writer's fault. This was my words, and it went well. And so I was like, well, I think I might be onto something. And I was always a student of stand-up. And so from that point on, I was like, you know what, let's just see. I kept my day job with my family. All right. Because when you're Indian and you're overseas, you're going to work for your family. That's just a guaranteed. So I just kept my day job, and I'd go out at night. So I would get done with work at 5:36, and I would just go to the pub or wherever the open mic was, and just sit and wait until it was my turn. And when you're first starting out, you go at the end. And so I wouldn't get home till 2:30 in the morning, and then back at work at 7:30, and just kept that going until it was very short. Actually, it was about 3 months, and me and Paul Varghese got our own show called Indians at the Improv.
Oh, okay.
And the Improv is a chain of comedy clubs
Okay.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
So we started off in Texas, and we sold out 317 people our first show. We didn't even have close to the amount of material that we needed to actually sustain a show. So it was so funny. It was called Indians at the Improv, but it was 3 white people and then me and Paul. Because we had to fill the time. So we didn't know what else to do, and there was no other Indian comedians. So we're like, we'll just put these guys up front, and then we'll just go up at the end, and we'll do, we'll just scramble and write. And we're writing samosa jokes and auntie jokes and this, just trying to fill whatever could be relatable at the time. And then that show was such a huge success, we ran it for 2 years.
Oh, lovely.
And then we got on the same tour called The Gurus of Comedy in 2006. And we went all over with 16 cities throughout the US. And then you could see this need for a voice for South Asians, especially abroad. Yeah. And it kind of flooded the market, especially after Russell blew up. Like all the Indian kids were like, well, I'm gonna go be a stand-up comic now. And it's not for everybody. So the attempt was valiant. And it flooded the market for a little bit, but then it kind of died back down. And
it received out.
Yeah, and then the guys that were in it for the long haul, obviously stayed through a little bit of a drought that we had. But at the end of the day, it was one of those things where that's what I was supposed to do. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
That's your calling.
Yeah, I don't know what else I'm not, Paul and I have talked about this. I'm not really good at anything else. So I don't know what I would do. Like, I would be really bad at anything else. So I think I'm pretty good at this. So I'll just stick to this. Like, I'll let everybody else be doctors. I'll let the smart kids do what the smart kids do. I just see things and go, oh, I can put a punchline to that. You know what I mean? So I'll just keep doing what I do, and you guys keep saving lives and saving the world. And, yeah, that's kind of where my story is.
My mom used to say some fun things. My mom's favorite thing, one of her favorite things to say was, "Tera baap bhi karega." Oh, that's a gangster line right there. "Tera baap bhi karega," which is really weird for your mother to say. In general, right? Like, go outside and take out the trash. No, tera baap bhi karega. All right. What's even stranger is when my dad would say it to me. That was just really weird to hear that from him. Like, go outside and cut the grass. No, tera baap bhi karega. I'm like, well, then who are you? No other race of mothers can make you feel bad as much as an Indian mom can. Is that like passed down from mother to daughter? Are you gonna give her those lines one day when she gets married? Like, my mom would say things that would make you feel bad in a second. My mom would say things like, "Pata nahi kis janam ka badla le rahe ho mujhse."